Thank you, Mike. So yes, I am your Director of Emergency Management. I see some of you look as tired as I do. You may remember we've got a little bonfire going on up north. July 8th, we had the Hope Fire start. And I was super thrilled because July 19th was my first day off. So I was at Fire District 5 at an open house, and Mike decided to show off. And so now I'm down here. So emergency management, we are a department of one. This is it. This is all you get. It's just me. I'm behind the Facebook page, the web pages. When you end up getting a hyperreach, hands raised, who knows what hyperreach is? Good. There's a lot more hands than there was in Northport. So hyperreach is our emergency alert notification system. Most of the time I send out those alerts. Otherwise, it's coming out of dispatch. Usually if it's in all caps, it's coming out of dispatch. I usually have time to make lowercase, uppercase, punctuation, that type of thing. So we help handle the evacuation levels. And so you understand evacuation levels kind of go in a series. So we have our first emergency. We have no idea what's going on. We know there's a fire. We know it's rapidly growing. And unfortunately, when we look at the fire, it doesn't look like this to us. We've got Mike rolling up on scene. We deploy all of our deputies. We start driving down roads. Deputies start going, I see smoke here, I see flames here. We start trying to track it, and then we draw circles and ovals and just tell everybody get out of the area because we don't know where is safe. Once we have a moment to sit down, come back, and we start hearing from the firefighters, we start hearing from the deputies, then I sit down with the chief and I look at his area and I go, okay, what are our problem areas? If the fire hits here, where's it gonna run? Where do we know that we have high populated areas? Where do we know that we have people with ag? And we sit down and we start to look at that and we start to draw out the evacuation map. So we got a lot of critiques on our evacuations this time because Mike and I sat down and decided we didn't want to jump you guys back and forth. That is the one thing we do not like to do, is it's confusing enough if you get a notice and it says evacuate now, and then suddenly you get a notice and, well, never mind, you're fine. And then, oh no, evacuate now, and then you're like, what is going on? And it's like, well, the fire was going this way, and then the winds changed thanks to the weather. Now it's going this way. So when we sit down, we strategically try to think, we don't know exactly what this fire has decided to do yet. We know the ridges it can climb, we know the ridges it's currently climbing, and based off of that, if it gets on that ridge, where's it gonna go? So that is kind of when we start to draw out our level 2s and our level 3s. Seldom into the fire do we do a level 1. Because in all honesty, guys, if you can't tell there's wildfire smoke outside, you guys probably need to pay attention to your surroundings a little bit more. That's all level 1 is supposed to tell you. Level 1 is supposed to be like, there's a wildfire in the area. Usually by day 2, 3, 5, 9, 12, like I am in the Hope Fire, you should know there's a wildfire. So level 1 and level 2, we do like to end up keeping those then for a series of days. Sometimes, like in the Hope Fire, it wasn't until 2-3 days ago I finally could take level 3 off the map. Hope is a unique fire because it burned out on the outside and we managed to save a lot of homes on the inside. It was really hard to tell people they could come back home because they're completely surrounded by a raging wildfire. So in a lot of cases, when people start to wonder, well, hey, they said the lines look really good. Well, the fire doesn't necessarily look like this. A lot of times there's some nice green spots inside, and when those green spots are still there, we still need this to be red because we don't want people to go in, get stuck, get stranded. And so that's kind of our whole evacuation thing. So Mike was talking about his 300 square mile area. I have 2,400 square mile area, and emergency management, we're all about the mitigation, the response, and the recovery. And we're heavy on the recovery. So that's just a little bit I want to dab in tonight. If you guys have been affected at all, there is a QR code on the back table, some survey information. All of that is to collect and try to help you guys get on the recovery part. And I'm already focused on recovery because recovery, we all watched the Gray Fire, we all watched Spokane go through this. Recovery is the hardest part. And so on that QR code, You're going to be able to answer if you were a business impacted. If you were, we can get you hold of the state. We can get Tri-County Economic Development. We can get some connections in there. It's going to ask you if you have pasture land, ag. We can get you connected with the conservation district. It's going to ask if you have timberland. Are you going to need salvage? Do you need to talk to a forester? We have DNR. We have connections. We can get you trees. We can get you seed. We have to collect that information, though. So the survey's out there just asking if you've been affected in any way. You can quickly scan the QR code on your phone. Just give us a response and let us know. Don't want to forget anything. Oh, and then the very last, timing wasn't ideal. I was right in the middle of building an app for Stevens County, and this hit. So my launch date has been pushed back a few weeks. But we are going to have an app, so you'll be able to find it on your Android, on your Apple phone, and it'll be called Stevens County Connect. And essentially, you'll be able to have resources like this. So one of the things you may have noticed this time is we are trying to put an advisory map on the website. Because the way our emergency alert system works is it just tells you, hey, you need to leave now. It doesn't send you a map. It doesn't have that capacity to send you a map. And so on our Stevens County website, we've built an interactive map. You can type in your address. You can look at it. You can see where you are in the evacuation zones. It also highlights all the fires that are going on. You can look at other people's evacuation zones if you're nosy. You can check everything out on that app. That will be linked in with this app. And then the sheriff will have a page. The health district will have a page. I'll have a section. But it'll hopefully make it easier to access information, because we do understand we're rural. We don't have a regular TV station. We don't have a daily newspaper. We barely have a radio station that covers most of the county. We kind of have something that covers south. We kind of have something that covers north. So we're hoping that the Stevens County Connect app can kind of help you guys stay in touch with information. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Like Jacob said, my name is Pat Ryan. I'm DNR's regional manager for this part of the state. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. As you may have seen through the presentations you already had, some of them things I was going to talk about, so I won't get deep into that. You don't need to hear it again. But you probably noticed a process here. We had our local forces first. We had DNR engines here and crews, and we had the fire service, Mike's folks that were here, and other resources. They quickly, well, take it back a minute. I went up to the Hope Fire with Tim Love, who you heard about him a little bit earlier. He's our assistant region manager for our wildfire program. He and I went up that day up to Hope to take a look at it, to get a feel for what was going on there. I got back about 1:32, maybe 2:30, whatever it was. I stepped outside to talk to somebody about some fuels reduction work I wanted to do for them. I didn't take my phone, and usually this thing is stuck to my hip 24/7. I wasn't outside for 15, maybe 20 minutes, and I came back in, and I had a text already that this fire was 20 acres. And it's like, oh, geez. So I'm listening. Within 20 minutes after that, Tim said, yeah, we're probably looking at 150 acres. We need to look at, we're not going to be able to hold this. So that's when it went to the Type 3 team that was mentioned. And it was great. Some of those people got there that night to start getting embedded, see what's going on. And they took the fire the next morning at 10 o'clock. Their operations people immediately got up on the hill, saw what was going on, trying to figure out, can we, with the resources that we have, handle this fire? And to their credit, they said, no, we really can't. And that's when it was time to pull in the big guns. This team that you have here now, Northwest 2, that they have more horsepower because they have more resources, more people to help out. And so that's what we did, and the system worked really well. When we made that decision, I think it was less than 2 hours, and they were ordered. And immediately some of their team members got up here. And this is what they do. They get in here to help out, right? And so what was nice was the Team 3 that was here did a wonderful job of setting them up well. They'd already had some orders in for more resources to get in here to help out. And they set them up real well. And then Team 2 took it over, and they've been aggressive with this fire, which is what we need. They're doing the right thing. They're trying to protect your homes. They're trying to put as little fire on the ground as they can, but they have to do what they have to do, and that's why you saw the burnout. I want to thank our DNR folks, the fire service, Chief Busey's folks for what they did. They spent a lot of hours out there. That's a lot of hard work, and as you all know, this is not easy ground to work in, right? I want to thank the Type 3 team, Team 2, for coming in and having the wherewithal to realize, you know what, this is more than what we can do. And then, of course, Northwest Team 2. One of the things I want to let you know, though, is like you heard Adina talk about, there's post-fire things that need to be done, right? So once you know, everything's kind of taken care of there, you're going to have some timber that's burned. What are you going to do with that? There's salvage operations that are going to happen. There's tree planting. There's maybe some grass seeding. So DNR has some programs to help with that. So I asked Eric Keller, he's in the back right there, and he has some handouts for anybody that would like. He's our Forest Practices District Manager. I'm going to guess that some of you have never done any logging before or gone through that process. So he has some handouts with some websites to where to go, some phone numbers. We can get some people to help you out with that. Also, there's some numbers on there to help out with some grass seeding. We think we're going to get funding. I don't know yet. They're still working on budget, and we all know what the budget's looking like for the state of Washington. But with some legislation that came through a few years ago, they started giving us some money that we never had before to help people after a fire comes through. And so some of that will be some grass seed for some of the skid trails that are there, so you can get them down, so it'll help with weeds and things of this nature, right? And also, in the last 2 years, I think we've planted 130 or 140,000 trees we've helped people with to help get their stands regenerated. So we have some help we can help you with. Take advantage of that. We'll do what we can. And once again, I just want to thank you for coming and joining us today, and we'll certainly be around for any questions that you'd like to ask. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. So we have one more speaker here, and that's Glenn Lockwood here with the American Red Cross. So Glenn, tell us about your program.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Jacob. And thank you for being here today. And to our Department of Emergency Management, who we work closely with, Fire District 1. We don't want to see a lot of you, but unfortunately we do. When the fire started, our first responsibility was to set up a shelter. It's in this building. It happened on the day of the fire, and we have continued to be here and staff this facility. Thank goodness, in many ways, that not many people have come. That tells us that they've had family or friends that they've been able to stay with. And I can tell you, I think we run a pretty good shelter, but it doesn't beat staying with friends and family. And there's a great level of support and comfort when that happens. But we're here, and we will be here until the levels of evacuation change, and that has limited us, and it has limited you. We respect those levels of evacuation, especially when we're dealing with the level 3 evacuation. We respect it. We listen to our partners in fire, incident command. And as soon as that is lifted, we are going to be able to send out our assessment teams in cooperation with emergency management and incident command to assess those facilities or homes, structures that have been adversely affected by the fire. And when that happens, our teams are out, we will then let you know through Adina and emergency management where an assistance center is going to be set up, where we're going to be able to meet with homeowners and what we call clients to assess your needs and be able to provide some financial assistance to help in the immediate recovery for you after the fire, so you can return as quickly as you can to a more normal, stable life. We are told that there's not a high loss of homes, but even one home is too many. And so that's how we see it, and that's how we will work with you to make this happen. If there's any concerns or questions, I'll be here as well to answer if you have any more. And Jacob, I'll give it back to you.